Check, check. All right. Volume. Good. Excuse me. All right, folks. What's going on? Let me get set up here. Volume down so I can't hear myself. Volume looks good for you all. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving with the family. I was going to do a video last week, but, things got a little busy. I am trying to catch up with everything before I actually go on the road. Hold on. What is going on here? Take a week off. Everything goes to crap. I am trying to get everything done before I go on the road next week. Actually taking off with the family, with the boys. Heading down to Florida for the entire week. And I know it's everybody's, rushing to do Christmas shopping right now. And I got folks hitting me up about hardware and what to get. And figured I'd get on here. And rather than deal with a bunch of people asking me what iPad to get and everything else, we'll just cover it right now. And some other things that you might want to get. I know right after Christmas is the King of Hammers. And folks are already prepping for that. Which is kind of funny. This last Baja 1000 snuck up on me. It was kind of a weird year. I don't know how it was down there for everybody, but it really snuck up. Like, I knew it was coming. Obviously, we were doing this live stuff together. We were prepping the files, and then next thing I know, it's race day. The pre-running went quick for everybody. At least back here, sitting back here on my chair. Make sure the live chat is up on both screens, just in case anybody does jump in on here. And yeah, so let's talk about some gear, things you might want, things you might want to get because it's Christmas. I don't know, and y'all have more money than me. So let's cover first. The big question is, what do I get as far as device? We get asked about LeadNav. Let's start at LeadNav, actually. You'd be surprised how many folks, if you're on YouTube here watching me, this probably isn't you. Maybe it is. I don't know. No offense to those folks, but there's a lot of new folks coming into Apple who don't understand how to load the app, get the app, purchase the app, subscribe to the subscriptions. And they hit me up constantly, about renewing subscriptions. I got hit up this week about a few people's subscriptions were running out, and they were asking, oh, how do they renew? They're hitting me up to renew. Well, Apple controls all app sales. They control the subscriptions. That's part of the deal. That's part of the bargain, or the deal with Apple, is that they handle all that for us. So I don't have any access to your subscriptions. I don't activate your subscriptions. You get your device, whether it be an iPhone or iPad. You set up an iTunes account. You purchase the app through your iTunes account. The app will share between all devices that share that iTunes account. And same with the subscription. The subscription is purchased in the app. So you can, if you got two options, you got the Advanced and the Pro Pack subscription. And we just to put a line between the two. If you're going to be hiking around in small areas and stuff like that, you can get the Advanced. If you're going to be in a vehicle covering larger areas, you're going to be running Pro. But anyway, the subscriptions are handled in app. If anybody's thinking about giving somebody or a subscription or Pro Pack, you can do Apple gift cards and all that good stuff. So that they can put it towards their credit and purchase it through the App Store. and renew. Subscriptions are auto renewing. Now, if you haven't updated your iPad, heck, man, if you're not set at an auto renewing subscription by now, you haven't updated your LeadNav app for a long time, well over a year. So Apple, with their new system, everything switched over to auto renewing. So if you're, like, for instance, going to run Pro Pack and you don't want it to auto renew next year, well, you can turn on and turn off auto renewing subscriptions in the settings of your device, right? So that's it for the app. All right, knocking that out. Most people hopefully know how to handle that. Hardware. So I get asked about iPads, what iPad to get almost, I don't know, at least once a day. Somebody asked me what iPad to get. So let's take a little jump over to the Apple App Store right now. Or sorry, the Apple Store, the hardware store. Let me get on here. All right. Let's take a look. So if this was early LeadNav 2014, 15, I would be very specific on what iPad to get. I mean, back then the iPads weren't even really keeping up with what we were trying to do. 2016, 17, once they jumped from iPads to the Pro models, we were pretty good to go as far as capability and on the device itself. So, but back then, I mean, I would say up until just in the past couple of years, an iPad will typically last you about 4 years from the date of release, not the date that you purchased it, the date Apple released it. You had about a 4-year window of when the device starts phasing out. I mean, it's just like a laptop, and I think we all know about. I mean, folks, any electronic device is kind of made to kind of go away after a period of time, so you buy a new one. I mean, that's the same with freaking anything out there. But about 4 years was that breaking point to where the iPad, well, the iOS, the operating system, would kind of evolve to the point that that device couldn't handle it anymore. It would kind of phase off the back end, and it was about a 4-year time frame. I had folks getting, not to say you couldn't still buy an iPad that was already like 2 years old from release. So you might get one back, or you might have got one back then that was still available through Apple or Best Buy or Target or wherever you used to get it. And yeah, you might have just bought it, but it came out like 2 years ago. So now it's got about 2 years left in it. Today, if you folks ask me what iPad to get, you could get any iPad available right now on the Apple Store. So take a look. Go up here to iPads. You could go now, depending on what you're doing or what you're looking to use it for. I run an iPad Pro. Typically, I don't have one sitting here, but the one I carry with me on road trips is an iPad Pro. It's in my backpack. I got the keyboard with it, the mouse, and that's what it's not in the case. It's just in it's just in my backpack, and that's what I kind of consolidate all my files on and do all my big planning on, do my trip planning on. I can have the keyboard so I can enter notes in real quick and all that good stuff like that. But for the most part, I mean, these days, the iPad Pro is way overkill, way overpriced. Today, the standard iPad. So you got let's take a look up here. You got the iPad Pro, then right under that, you got the iPad Air, and you have the standard iPad. So the standard iPad, the base model, the lowest priced one, it's the speed and the processing power of that iPad is well above. It's double, triple of anything we were running back then, when we first came out. the cheapest iPad for running as a GPS is going to be plenty fast enough for you. If you go into the iPad, well, let's go through the models. So you got your base iPad, cheapest one. It's going to be great for a GPS throw in your vehicle and beat the crap out of it. If you break it, it's not as bad as breaking an iPad Pro. And again, the iPad Pro is faster than most laptops out today, so it's way overkill. If you're going to be using it for doing other things like video editing and all kinds of stuff like that, as your daily like kind of grab and go laptop, yeah, get the iPad Pro. Again, I use it with a keyboard, but you could get the iPad Air with a keyboard now. The iPad Air is in the middle range there, and the iPad Air is what we recommend and it's what we decided to build our XO case for, which are all these shiny things sitting right here and sitting right here in front of me. All these bling blings. That's we can only pick one iPad a year. We went mid-range and we went with the iPad Air. We also went the only reason we really chose the iPad Air is because we haven't made XOs in like 2 years with the shutdowns and everything. With no events going on, we stopped making them for a good 2 years. And when things were opening back up, the iPad Air at that time had the longest shelf life on it. Meaning, usually every year you get a new iPad Pro, a new iPad Air, and a new iPad model launch every year. They're staggered. So what is it right now? I think usually you'll get like an iPad. Well, coming up next is actually the iPad Air probably in, spring. In early spring, they'll probably start hitting at a new iPad Air or something to replace that. We just got the new iPad Pro. You can see it has new up top there. So the iPad Pro and the iPad just got refreshed, relaunched. So now those have another, year before Apple launches the update to that. So the only reason we chose the Air at the time we did was because it had the longest shelf life to it, for us to put all this effort into and make a case. And it's middle of the road. It's a good iPad. So that's why we chose to build for the iPad Air. Most people aren't going to get an XO. So most people are just going to use an off-the-shelf case. So the standard iPad is plenty fast for you. But let's go into these. We'll go into the standard iPad. See what they got up here. They actually are still selling the iPad 9th gen. And the iPad 9th gen is probably still a good iPad for you. For most people that are just going to be off-roading. So, I mean, pretty much anything available right now through Apple's website is going to be good enough to run GPS. Now, let's go down here. Let's actually just skip the bull crap and go. Let's go 10th gen. Let's go to buy. And let's look at some options here. Make sure nobody jumped in here. So looking at some options. Now, here's where folks make the mistake of... Well, let's actually see what we got here, because this is interesting here. So, is there no more options here? I'm missing half my page. See if I can make this bigger without losing. Without losing you. Weird. Hold on, let me readjust here, folks. Let me expand the screen real quick. There we go. All right. Get this back to you. What's that look like? All right, hold on, Matt. Let's see what this looks like. Probably good enough. I'm kind of in the way. But there it is. So the first mistake folks will make is the hard drive space. So 64 gig, they do this on purpose. 64 gig is like, it's like an empty tank. I mean, you're right there at that threshold. Whenever you go on a serious off-road trip, you're going to be pushing about 30 gigs of storage just in the app alone, not to mention anything else you do on your iPad. And if you don't know any hard drive, you don't, even though you have like a 64 gig hard drive, you don't want to fill it really, max it out. Like you never want to run your computer, your hard drive or anything like that at max capacity, because it's got to shuffle files around and do things in the background, and it needs that extra space to kind of shuffle through and organize your files. So you never want to top it off, basically. So 64 gigs for anything is, they know it. Apple knows that that's tight. And then the next jump, they used to have a 128 gig available, which was a good model to go with. What am I doing on latency? It looks like I'm dropping some frames. Drop frames, internet here in the sticks. Man, I don't want to shift to Wi-Fi, but we'll see how it goes. If it's 64 gig to jump you up to 256 gig, I would recommend going 256 gig. Just because 64 gig is so close on what you'll need, that you'll be always topping that off. Let me games on the feed. Let me try some here. This might screw everything up, but let me see here. I don't know how this is going to transfer, but I'm switching Wi-Fi. We'll see how that does. We'll see how that does. The kids are in there gaming. The internet hasn't been the best. I still haven't ran my my hard line out here to the shop yet. I got to do that. That's what I'll have to do that. Dropping. There's probably gonna be a ton of drop frames in this, but anyway, back to the iPads. I'm just gonna blast through it. You'll get the picture. iPad, any iPad, 64 gigs is going to be tight for you. I would jump up to 256 gig. Period. And the other big thing that folks fail to understand is you have a Wi-Fi or you have your Wi-Fi with cell model. Get the Wi-Fi plus cell model. You don't need a cell plan. It has a built-in GPS chip. If you get the Wi-Fi only iPad, it does not have a GPS chip in it. It cannot tell you where you are in the world. So you would have to always run a GPS antenna, like one of these, which you want to do anyway when you're like serious off-roading or racing. You're going to run an external antenna anyway. But for the, it's not worth the saving cost to buy all this stuff and only get a Wi-Fi only iPad, that if you want to jump out of a vehicle with your iPad and jump into somebody else's vehicle, that it won't work as a GPS unless you take this out of the other car and bring it with you or carry it in your pocket. It just sucks. So we strictly suggest getting the Wi-Fi and the cell model iPad for the built-in GPS capability and for a backup to one of these. But that's it for the iPad. We go back to, I don't know if the feed's doing any better now or not. It might be doing better now. I switched over. Anyway, Go back to iPads. Again, we've been running the Air model iPad just because we build our cases for it. And you go to the buying options of that. Again, I'm kind of blocking you. Gotta set this up better. Of course, you got your color options. That's up to you. Go space gray. Again, you got 64 gig or 256 gig. I'm going 256 gig. Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi plus cell. Wi-Fi plus cell. Engraving. No. Apple Pencil and all that good stuff. So you can see, and Apple Care. Yes, get Apple Care. I'd suggest getting Apple Care. I don't know, the repair shops are getting better these days, and Apple is now making it easier for folks to repair these things. It's up to you. You're probably going to bust a screen at some point. If you get in an accident or roll over or something like that, you might bust a screen. Depending on what you do, Apple Care I think's worth it. Because if you break it and fold that iPad in half, you can take it to Apple and they will replace or fix it for, again, you still have to pay, but it's nothing. It's not going to be $1,000. So I would suggest getting Apple Care. But there you can kind of see the price of the unit we're running. It's around $900. I think it comes out with tax and Apple Care, because Apple Care is $79. You're looking around just under $1,000 for the iPad that we suggest. So that's for a device. We get tons of folks. I mean, when we first started, we had a lot of folks that are like, hey, do you have it for Android? Or are you ever going to launch it for Android? And the answer is we thought about it. We dumped a lot of money into it. We tried it. I was doing Android development. I was overseeing that while I was in the military, and it was just a freaking mess. I ain't going to go into that right now, but folks are like, well, Android's half the world. Nah. If you look up app sales and the actual the revenue of some of the other competitors that we have that are in both Android and Apple, the amount of development and upkeep on Android is a freaking nightmare across all the units and devices out there. And if you look at their revenue, it's about a quarter from Android than it is from Apple sales. So say what you want. I've been doing this since 2014. I've been doing it prior since 2010 in the military. And you can be an Android user. That's cool. But if you want a GPS unit for your vehicle, you can either get a Lowrance, a Garmin, or LeadNav that happens to be on an iPad. And I just went over the iPad that I suggest you get. Keep your Android phone. I don't care. But that's it. It's on Apple. You can get it on your iPhone. Dirt bikers, hikers, folks on foot. It is freaking awesome on your iPhone. I would still run an iPad to do all your planning. You could do everything in the iPhone, but again, it's easier to sit there with a keyboard on an iPad and jam out routes and plan trips and transfer it over to your iPhone, and the other folks going with you. So that's just what I would suggest doing. But that's it for the actual iPad device. So I think the feed is better. I wish I would have started off on this. We'll see how this goes. It might sound terrible when we're done as far as the latency in the video. What else? So the other main deciding factor on the iPad is the case you're going to run. This used to be really easy. Back when we started, we made the best, highest end machine case out there, the most professional case available, and we still do. And back then it was great because we had the greatest off the shelf priced option available, which was the LifeProof nude case. There has not been another off the shelf case that comes anywhere close to the quality and the performance of the LifeProof nude case. We used to sell it. We were dealers for it, and we sold a ton of life-proof nude cases. A ton of them have been running vehicles. The reason we liked it, and let me see if I can even. I don't even know. Let me get on there. It's been a while. Let's see here. May jump you over. Cookie setting. Let's see. I don't even know. Let's go. Look at this. Okay. All right. Well, here you go, folks. I was gonna say this, but I just typed in LifeProof, and OtterBox came up. So the good old folks at OtterBox didn't like that LifeProof nude cases were so, like, everybody liked them. They didn't like that. While they were trying to push their OtterBox Defender case, which is the worst, one of the worst iPad cases ever developed. They think it's the greatest. Obviously, they had to buy out LifeProof. They bought LifeProof and slowly weaned them off the iPad case market. The LifeProof nudes were still available for a while, and over the past couple of years, they stopped making the LifeProof nude cases or any cases for iPads. And I can tell you, this is the first time I've tried to type in LifeProof's website, and OtterBox came up. So they completely eliminated LifeProof, obviously, which made the best professional off-the-shelf case you could find. Why was it good? Because, first of all, it was very slim. It was well made. It was waterproof, and it had no built-in screen protection. So the one thing I'd tell you to look for, and I haven't done a lot of shopping on, I mean, you think I would, I haven't been building any standard packages out for a long time. I used to build out LifeProof packages, freaking hundreds of them a month. When LifeProof went away, and of course everything else happened in the world, I haven't built or looked into this a lot in the past couple of years, but I would not suggest the OtterBox Defender case with its built-in anti-glare, or not, sorry, its built-in screen protection, because it has full glare, like shiny glare. The standoff between the screen film, the protective film, and the screen makes it a pain to just, touch screen. And after one event, that built-in screen will be so scratched up that you'll have to scrap and throw away the entire case, which maybe that's what you do. Maybe you just buy a new OtterBox Defender case every year. For us, we put anti-film. We preferred the LifeProof case because we put our own anti-glare film on, which you can get from Amazon. Look up anti-glare film for any iPad you want to run. We would put that film on there, and just like a tear off after the race was over, we would tear it off and slap a new one on. It was looked brand new. It also was tight to the screen, so the input was better, and it had anti-glare in it built into it, which did the opposite of what the OtterBox case does, which gives you full shiny glare in your face, and it's a terrible case. But I've talked to the folks there, and they think it's great, and obviously a lot of people buy it. But for professional off-road use, I don't suggest it. And let's see, what do I suggest? All right, let's just look up some things here. Let me do some searching real quick. I know there was I've been waiting for years for Apple to finally make at least the iPad or to do the same thing they do with the iPhone, put the waterproof coating on it to make it at least water resistant, waterproof like the phone is. Because then there would be a ton of cases I would suggest, just bumper style cases. And if it gets dusty or wet, who cares? Just rinse it off and it's good to go. I've been hoping that they would make them waterproof for a while. Maybe they will one day. I don't know. There used to be a tech out there. A company was coming out that you could actually waterproof devices yourself. Like you put them in this machine, and like at Best Buy, they were going to put them in like Best Buys that you could go there. Hold on a second. I was going to sneeze. I was actually trying then, and I couldn't stop myself. All right. There was actually they were going to put these machines. I was interested in when it came out. This company was going to put these, like, it's like a vending machine. They're going to put it in your Best Buys and stuff where you could take your phone in and like put it in the machine, and it puts the coating, like the liquid coating, it vacuum sucks the coating in through all the ports on your device and puts a waterproof coating on all your circuitry, supposedly. That was a company that was going to come out, and I guess it never did, but that would have kind of been cool. And that's kind of, I imagine, what Apple does with these. But I wish they would do it to their iPads, because then you could run any bumper case. It would be a lot better for us too running these cases. We wouldn't have to care as much as the O-rings and the tolerances and the metal and all that stuff. It would be waterproof on its own. Um, but as far as cases, I mean, let me just type in iPad rugged case. Let's do some searching around here. It's tough. Again, I haven't looked for a while. I've focused more on the professional packages now. I've stopped doing a lot of individual, package sales. I kind of gave up on it when LifeProof went away, but I mean, there are options out. I'm seeing here. I know Pelican makes a case. I'm not going to say it's good or not. Let's see here. I'm not going to waste your time looking, but I mean, there's a lot of bumper cases out there. Like, if you're not going to get it wet, like totally dunked underwater, and there's things you could do to a regular case off the shelf and make it at least somewhat waterproof. Back when we ran different cases before we had anything, I mean, we used to tape up the volume ports, the SIM card ports on the iPad, and put it in one of these bumper cases, and it was pretty good to go. You just have to protect the power port going into it. If you get a lot of salt, especially if you're boating, you get salt water up into the port, you'll fry out the power connector quick. You'll short it out. Um, but as far as cases, I would look for something that does not have a built-in screen protector. You can obviously still get OtterBox Defender cases if you're in a pinch and you need something. Let's see here. Let's pull up this. There's the old OtterBox Defender case. Now let's check this out though. Here, let's see what they've done in a while here. Version 2021 black. Drop protection, ports block dust, versatile device stands. Touch screen protection and converts into a stand. Yeah, it looks nice in this photo, but this anti-glare film this not anti-glare film, this plastic film they put on over here, it's not the greatest. But I guess if you got to use what you got, there's your option. So, let me see here. Yeah, so case wise, I guess you got to kind of look, if you're gonna get this for off road or something to take with you in the field. You got to kind of look at them together. Look at the iPads that are available currently on App Store or Apple Store, the standard iPad and the iPad Air. I'm sure you're probably actually going to find more cases for the what was this one for? This was for the standard iPad. So it looks like OtterBox is making them for the standard iPad, which is cool. It's the cheapest iPad and it's plenty fast for off-road. So you kind of want to look at them together. If you're going to seriously plan on taking this iPad off-road and beating it up in an off-road vehicle that doesn't have windows and doors, maybe doors but no windows, You definitely want to look at them together and decide on what you want to get. Look for the case that you think would be good to go, and then the and get the iPad that fits in it, basically. Um, as far as the packages that we build, they're I build less than 50 to 100 exos a year. All these bling bling options sitting here on the table. I actually came in the night. I woke up this morning. I was like, I'm going to go live tonight and I'm going to launch because if you notice, I pulled them off the store. If anybody's gotten on the store in the past week or so, I put the Exos. I put the Exos for quote only, a contact for quote. I turned off the direct purchasing on the Exos, even though I still got like 15 of them sitting here ready to Cerakote. We got the King of Hammers coming up. I know there's going to be some packages there. I got some other contracts that these might go out the door for. I'm not really pushing them right now at all. The first 25 units that we put out on Instagram a couple months ago, I mean, I sold all 25 units in 72 hours. And, 3 or 4 of those were into our bigger contract builds. And that's where we make the money on them. Me selling these individually does not really pay out. It's kind of a break-even thing. We design these every year. The new iPad already kind of went over a little bit with the iPad releases. We try to look at the iPad that's going to kind of last, and hopefully we get lucky some years where the iPad body won't change, or the current iPad Pro will be next year's iPad Air, and the body will stay the same. So then we can just take this design and all this work we've done and roll it over another year and sell the same Exo year to year. And if we can do a back-to-back year, we make decent money. But the other reason we make these Exos is they're a flagship item. I mean, that we build contracted builds of 3 to 4 units going out to a group or a team with training, consulting, satellite equipment, everything else, multiple year contracts. I mean, these are pretty significant contracts, and it gives us the reason to put all the effort into making this. If you think about how we got to, when the new iPad gets released, we got to sit here, mock it up, design it, prototype it, make sure it all fits. You can't even do it really until the actual iPad gets launched, because until we get a physical new unit in our hand, we can't really, lock in the design until we start test fitting it. So by time Apple announces it, it's coming. Well, then as soon as the keynote happens and they put out the new iPad, we immediately order one. Then it gets here, in a week or two. And then that clock starts ticking. We get the design done. We prototype it. I got all this 3D printing equipment now, which makes that easy. I'm doing the design myself, which, makes that I can do that myself overnight. But still, by the time we get this going, and then we get it to the machine shop, and right now I think I saw him get on here. Way of the Mill is on here. As soon he machined this batch, these last 2 batches, and he's been turning around quick. But still, by the time we get them going, we're already 3 to 4 months into the sale window of the current iPad. So then we get about 3 or 4 months after that to actually sell them. And again, most of those we were building because of contracts that were coming up. So all that design work, all that effort makes it worth it, because we're going to sell these in, a $50,000 to $100,000 contract. And then off of that, we try to make as many as possible without going in the hole. So, we'll build a batch like we just did, 25 units. The first batch we built in 2 years, honestly, since all the lockdowns and everything else happened. So folks have been hitting me up for 2 years straight about those things. And as soon as I announced them, all 25 units were spoken for in 72 hours. This second batch of 25 units, I had a couple go out to contracts, a couple go out to groups racing the Baja 1000. And then I have what's sitting on this table, and actually a few more back in the back behind you. And I'm kind of holding on to those because I know there's going to be some contracts for the King of Hammers coming up. I was going to get on here tonight and kind of say, hey, I think I could build 5 because I got to take these. I got to hand Cerakote them. Spray paint, Cerakote, ceramic coating on them. But with my trip next week, taking me till December, the week I won't be back till December 12th. I think I could finish in my head this morning waking up. I was like, well, I can knock out 5 units and probably get them out the door before Christmas for folks that want them. I turned them off on the store. They're quote only. But even with that, today I got 2. I know I got 2 I got to do today. Or I got 2 orders for them today. I had another person who's been hitting me up for a couple weeks now. And we just locked in his quote. So there's 3. And yeah, I could probably do 2 more units before Christmas if I really get busy the week I get back, December 12th. I can hand Cerakote 5 units probably that week and get them out the door, hopefully before Christmas. My point being, we don't make a lot of these. And the ones I do make, when I flip them outside of a big contract, when I sell them individually, I'm kind of like just getting rid of overstock, feeling the next iPad release coming, and you might be able to get a hold of one at that point. Not to say that if you hit me up with a quote or you want me to do your build, I can put together, if it's a serious, like, hey, I want to load out my race car, give me everything I need. And if you want to get the iPad yourself, that doesn't really make a difference to me. I don't get money from giving you an iPad or not. But if you're coming to me with a serious build and you're like, hey, look, here's my car, here's what I got, give me everything I need, I'll build you an EXO kit and get your car taken care of. If it's a team, even better. I mean, that's why we build them. So a little bit of a ramble, but I did have an individual kind of calls me to pull him off the store in the past couple weeks. And I'm sorry if this person is listening to this, but it was kind of stupid. Somebody ordered one of these, actually ordered 2 units. And again, I this was when I announced them and people were jumping on them pre-order. This guy ordered 2 units. I Cerakoted them. I packaged them. I shipped them across the country. And again, 2 units is like $2,000. Shipped them across the country. And again, I'm on individual unit sales like that. We're making okay money, but it's not really, it's kind of break even money for the year, selling them individually. But I ship them completely across the country. We make people sign for these when they show up, UPS, because you're not getting another one. They are like, there's only 50 units. So we try to coordinate it. I hit the guy up, say, hey, it's on its way out there. Anyway, long story short, the guy wasn't home to sign for it, even though he had the slip on his door. They had it at his local UPS. He never coordinated a drop. He never went to pick it up. He just he was very like not responsive in communication. He let it go for 10 days. They shipped them all the way back across the country to me. I got them. I finally reimbursed them. And then this guy went ahead and ordered 2 more. And either this guy was the most persistent scam artist and he was trying to pull one over or do some, chargeback scam or something like that. I've had that happen. Or I don't know. I just couldn't read the guy, where his head was at. But if I ordered $2,000 worth of iPad cases, small batch units and they were sitting down the road from me for 10 days, I'd probably want to go get them. But anyway, after that, I mean, I spent 8 hours dealing with that. Again, this is the kind of thing that doesn't make it worth it for me to just put them up on the store for sale, because, and folks have asked me to ship these Australia. And again, when I'm making 100 units a year, I can make a lot more money selling them in packages and here in the US than risking sending them across the globe and dealing with that same scenario. So anyway, I'm just kind of rambling about an issue with somebody I had, but that's why I pulled them off the store for direct purchase. They're still available. They're still sitting right here. If you're somebody that wants one, do the contact for quote. The pricing's still listed on the store. It should be. Yeah, it should be on the store still. But do the contact for quote. Tell me who you are, what you want it for. I'll sell you an XL individually. Again, I'm not saying I don't want to do that. I mean, I got the XOs sitting here. I just want to make sure that you're a real person and that you can accept a shipment from UPS to your door. That's all I'm going to say on that. I just want to make sure you're a legit person who wants one before I go through all the effort of shipping one out to you and risking the loss on something like this. Anyway, but back to the XO. I've spoke about these before. We'll do a episode on these, but it's machine billet. It's got a O-ring seal on the back, which gives it a nice squish and keeps everything sealed up and knocks, helps with the vibration and everything. It's got, somebody asked me that's actually buying one. He wants to buy one. Hit me up today. Asked me about the ball in the back. You either got direct dash mounting. You can direct dash mount this to the through bolts on the back permanently in your car, which I don't really recommend because the whole cool thing about these is be able to pull it out of the car. Now, if you're some person with a freaking professional luxury pre-runner or something that you, when you're not off-roading, keep it in your nice showroom or garage, well then yeah, just you can mount this, make it all nice and pretty, recess it in the dash. But if you're somebody that's going to have like an off-road vehicle sitting outside driving around Baja, just leaving it out in the weather, it's probably not a good idea, and I'd suggest mounting it with the ball. You can run a short ram arm to the ball and a dash mount, so it's very minimum. It's just sticking off the dash slightly. It'll just stick off the dash. You can fold the arm sideways, and then you can pull it away, and then you can unscrew it and take it with you. I mean, that's just doing something like that. If you want to kind of keep it tighter to the dash, or just run a 9-inch or a 5-inch arm, a ram. This is a C ball for ram mounts. If you get on ram mounts, here, we'll do that here. Ram mounts. I'm going to get into some good gear here in a minute. Not just LeadNav stuff. So just stick around. All right, so how's that look? Good. Anyway, ram mounts. If you go to ram mounts and type in, you with me? All right. If you type in, let's say consumer components. Let's go components. C size. Check it out. I mean, ram mounts makes like thousands and thousands of mounting options. If you need to mount one of these in something, you can do it. We got a C-ball in the back again. You can mount that permanently. Back to what the gentleman was asking. He's asking if you can remove the ball. No, you can't. Once it's on, it's direct mounted, but carrying it around, holding it, holding this thing, it's not bad. I use it as a kickstand when I'm sitting here typing away on it. It's not bad going direct. We used to make a cradle. It was awesome. People love them. I mean, you want to talk about a business model that's nearly impossible. Well, designing these for individual sale is hard enough in a machine billet that we got to change the design every single year on and sell limited supply or limited batches before the next one gets released. You want to talk about that being a hard business model. Now making a cradle, another custom machine cradle in the back of that this docks into, again, we're not against it. If it's a big contract, we can do it. But for individual sale and for these team orders, this made more sense for now. So we're sticking to this. Ball in the back, direct dash mount. Got your little kickstand there. You got all the go to C-ball and RAM and look at all the mounting options. I mean, you can mount this thing. Let's go over a couple ones that I suggest, or the ones that we use a lot. So we use the C-ball right there. So we put on the back of it. So you have I think, yeah, this is the 5-inch arm. This is the 9-inch arm. So if you have like a Can-Am, you'll probably use a 9-inch arm to get it into the dash off the window cage. If you've got a shorter vehicle, you might use a 5-inch. And then you have this short 3.5 or something. I think it's 3.5. That one, that's the one I talked about. You can, if you wanted to put a direct dash mount, you could put it darn near flush to the vehicle. Brackets. Here's the this behind me, popping up over my head. That square plate. That's what we use a lot to direct dash mount. We'll bolt that to the dash, and we'll stand it off with one of these short arms or a 5-inch arm, and then fold it sideways to flatten it or bring it out to you closer to your lap. You can use that. Window mounts, these suction cup mounts, we've used those a lot back when we ran the LifeProof cases, the plastic cases. All right, these claws. I bring these claws with me on every trip I go on, just because I have an option then to slap an iPad in any vehicle I get into with a cage. But I would not suggest running these claws for racing or serious off-roading at speed. The ball in this claw is a plastic kind of rubber thing, and it's got flex to it. So it'll vibrate and shake a lot more mounted to this claw. But it's a good option to bring with you if you want to pull this unit out of something where you have a hard mount on and just slap it in somebody else's pre-runner or something. It's kind of cool to bring one of these claws along with you. This is a medium one. There's a large one that we use. There's a small. Anyway, there's a large tough claw that we'll probably page through here, find it. But that's the one we use, the large one. Let's see. These upper pole systems that I'm flickering right now. This is what we put in our chase rigs. You can go in here. Ram makes a passenger seat bracket that bolts to the actual through the bolts of the seat on the passenger side. It's what you'll see in a lot of police cars and rescue vehicles and stuff like that when they bring their computers and laptops up on this arm. We run this arm. It's got the ball right there on it in our chase rig, and you can get it per vehicle model. You can page through and find that mounting plate. But this comes up and you can swing it in front of the passenger or front of the driver or in the middle. You can kind of swing it around and move it around and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. It looks in the chase trucks. It's awesome. I'm not going to go through. I mean, look, there's like 13 pages of this stuff. Let me see if I can find some other. Let me see. How are we doing? Doesn't look like we're dropping any more frames. Trying to find, let me find the main bracket that we use. Base. All right, here we go. Jeez. Nah. Let's see. Rail, car. Rail. There we go. There it is right there. Popping up over the top of my head right there. Right here. This guy. This is what we put in most vehicles, in most off-road vehicles, professionally. And we'll run a rubber gasket, like a radiator hose gasket under this to kind of give it some hard dampening squish to the cage. So it's not metal on metal. But we'll lock this on every race vehicle. This is pretty much what we're using. Again, I don't have any out, but we run these strips of radiator hosing that we'll cut and put under it to dampen it, and it kind of locks it in. You can tighten it down on it. But this ball is metal, and this thing won't budge. It won't freaking move. So this is the majority of the time, this is what we're putting in a race vehicle. What else? There's a smaller one on here for smaller cages we've used before. Popping over my head here that I'm flickering on. These are kind of new, but they got the plastic rubber ball on them. I actually have one of these on my boat, on the tower, on the cage. If you want to try one of these, knock yourself out. They're more specific to the actual cage diameter you need. But again, that ball is it's not a metal ball like on these. So it's got a little bit more flex to it and a little bit more vibration. All right, that's it for ramp. Dude, you can get on here. You can mount this thing to anything you want with ram mounts. All right. That's what else? GPS antennas. I went over before. If you have a cell model iPad, it has a built-in GPS antenna, a GPS positioning capability, meaning it can triangulate and tell you where you are in the world. It's not an internet thing. It's not a cell data thing. It's a GPS chip within the device. If you have a Wi-Fi only iPad, which I don't suggest you get, you have to run an external GPS antenna like this. I still suggest everybody like really mapping or off-roading in heavy terrain or definitely desert racing, you're going to run one of these. It's a Bluetooth antenna. Folks confuse this all the time. It has nothing to do with data. It's not going to surf the internet. It's not going to let you get on Twitter and get your tweets out. It is just a GPS antenna. This is no different than the white Lowrance antenna that you put out on your dash to make your Lowrance more accurate and update faster as far as your positioning. Same thing. That's all this is. It's not a data device. It's just a Bluetooth antenna. But you will run this in a race car for the position updates will be faster. And in heavy terrain, it'll lock better and be more accurate. But you're going to run this. It's made to put on a dash of a aircraft or a car with its little rubber boot it comes with, which ain't going to work out. So we design and manufacture these enclosures, the X6 enclosure. You can find that on our website. And there's a couple different mounting options. You have, you can do a Velcro, called a slap, where you put an adhesive Velcro on anything and slap it in there. You can, a lot of people strap it to the cage with a zip tie, a pair of zip ties we put in there, a heavy duty one, a small one that goes to the back here to kind of keep it locked on the cage. But if you get on our website, if you go in any of these things, you can see right here, the X6 case mount for the XGPS 160, which is what this is. And you can get it cage direct, where it has direct bolts, where if you want to drill your dash out and bolt it to it or do something like that, you can bolt it, slap it with the Velcro, or cage mount it. So it mounts and protects this, the XGPS 160. If you're doing a race package with us under contract, or we're doing a build for you with all this stuff, we'll sell you this, with power supply, and with everything you need. I stopped selling these individually in the store just because for one thing, the margins suck on them. The second thing is me dealing in these. I will tell you right now, I've been running these things. I've sold thousands of these. But what sucks is their customer service. This company, so a lot of folks will leave this sit in the sun or the dash, and they'll fry the lithium battery in it, or the battery cell in it. And once you do it, the thing's dead. Or they'll leave it in their car. They won't charge it forever. They'll race it, and then next year, or until the next race or next season, this thing will be sitting, and that battery will be drained and pretty much dead or fried by the time they use it again. At that point, folks are hitting me up saying, hey, this doesn't work anymore. What do I do? Well, I'm hitting the company up because the company has a customer service line and a warranty in the box that they're supposed to help you out with, but they're terrible at doing so. I've harassed them about it. I've replaced tons of these myself. I mean, out of a batch of 48 of these units, I'll probably have somebody fry one, 2 or 3 through a year of owning them, and I'll do a replacement on it, and it just sucks. I got tired of dealing with it. So I don't currently stock them. I might stock them again one day when things get going again here. But again, I've been just focusing on the bigger packages. I just get them and I ship them out with our full builds. But if you want one of these, go on Amazon and get one. Be at your door in 2 days. Can't beat Bezos in his shipping. Anyway, so we sell the case, the X6. You can get the antenna, Amazon, or straight from Dual. You can go to Dual's website. See here? You can go straight to Dual's website, and you can buy it right there. And you'll see they got all their warranty and facts down here. Well, I'm just telling you, don't expect them to actually replace this thing for you if you break it. And to defend them a little bit, you should not just leave this thing sit in a vehicle outside all year round. The case that we provide does a good job at keeping the moisture out of it. It does a pretty good job on its own, preventing moisture from getting into it. But if you leave it out in 120 degree heat, or in a car baking at 200 some degrees for a year straight, plus you don't charge it frequently or keep it topped off, you're probably going to fry the battery in it. You'd probably fry the battery in anything. So in their defense, don't do that. And I just don't feel like replacing them when you do that. So get them from them or get them from Amazon. Get the case from us, though. I manufacture these right behind me on these super expensive machines sitting behind me. So we have plenty of these X6 enclosures, plenty of mounting options for those. You can get them on the store right now. I don't want to cover this typical stuff like power, all that good stuff. Hey, Bikes, Whiskey, Guns t-shirts. We still have some left of the batch that we did, the run. Folks been ordering them this week. Appreciate it. If you're a dirt biker or biker and like whiskey and guns and bikes, you can get the Bikes, Whiskey, Guns t-shirt with the off-the-grid mobility on the back. You can get those up in the store on LeadNav. And appreciate all the folks ordering them up this week. And they come with stickers. They come with the pair of LeadNav X's, the pasty stickers. They come with those with every purchase. Actually, anything you buy, I slap a pair of those in. If you buy anything from LeadNav store, I usually slap a couple stickers in there for you. So folks have asked me if I sell the stickers individually. I haven't done that yet. Maybe I put those on there, but if you buy anything else from LeadNav, you're getting stickers, usually. Let's get into something good. Most of you are probably freaking bored. Let's get into here's some. It's going to be other people's products. Let's get into Bluetooth audio. How do you get LeadNav? What hardware do you need to get LeadNav to talk to you out loud through your headsets or through anything while you're ripping and roaring in a freaking race vehicle or a dirt bike? Actually, not a dirt bike. I'll help you on the dirt bike too. Let's start with a vehicle. So auxiliary, if you haven't noticed, auxiliary ports are dead. Like they're going away. They're not in half the iPhones and iPads out there today. You don't even have an auxiliary port. They will probably be phased out of all the iPads within the year, probably. There's not going to be any more left, which is fine because we stopped using them like 3 years ago when folks started making Bluetooth intercoms. And prior to this, we used to run the auxiliary line from the iPad or the iPhone to the radio, rigged in to the audio jack in some sort of radio. And then everybody would have these custom built cars. And every time you'd flip on the light bar, the audio would hum. You'd have bleed over, you'd have static, you'd have squelch issue. All this crap would happen because of how noisy the lines are in these race vehicles. And, well, then Rugged and PCI started building their Bluetooth intercoms, which is what you want. Bluetooth sync it, just like you would a phone to your car. You Bluetooth sync it. However you would play music from your iPhone or your iPad to your car is how you get LeadNav to talk to you. So we'll look at some options on a couple websites here. Let's go to Rugged first. Go to Rugged Radios. Turn this off. Here we go. Let me get this dialed. Let me get this screen dialed in more. See what this looks like. All right. How's that look? Cyber Monday. Hey, we're just in time still. Cyber Monday. Let's see what we can get. All right, we're on Rugged Radios. So again, it's you want a Bluetooth sync to your car. And I've run both these systems, both PCI and Rugged, in Baja 1000s. 2 years in a row, I ran the 1 year I ran the Rugged system. Next year I ran PCI. So I got feedback on both. But let's type in Bluetooth intercom. See what pops up. I think this is what I ran right here. Let's see here. Bluetooth. Let's see. I think this is it. Look at that. Down $100. Yeah, this is what we ran, I think. So the first year I ran this. And I know it. I can tell you what I thought of both units. It ain't gonna really change anything for the racers out there because you're either getting free stuff from Rugged or free stuff from PCI or hookups from either one. And me telling you one sucks probably isn't gonna switch you over to the other one because you're getting everything else from them. So, but I'll give you my kind of 2 cents on them, and maybe they've changed. It's been a year or two. Maybe they've done improvements. I don't know. But I would say both systems worked good. The Rugged one here, and again, I'm just pulling up, I'm just Googling what's out there right now. I would contact Rugged and ask them what they would suggest, like if they have a newer one than this or something. But I know there was an option between the audio quality, but it's however you would play music. So when we get in the race car or a pre-runner, actually, like on the start line, I'll have a song loaded in the iPad, Bluetooth sync it to one of these, comes into your headsets, and play a song to kind of get your audio, your LeadNav. because it's going to be the same as LeadNav talking to you. So you basically get your volume check with a song and then turn it off. And then once you start moving, all the notes that you put in the LeadNav, all these audio notes that we went over how to do, they'll be read out loud to you through your intercom. And what's cool with these systems, and well, LeadNav actually does it, but these systems do it with you guys talking between each other. It'll actually, if you start talking to each other over your intercom, LeadNav's audio level it'll go down to allow you to hear each other talk. Same with music. LeadNav, if you want to jam out the music riding a dirt bike or something and you're getting navigation from LeadNav, when she goes to give the navigation, the music will go down in level so you hear the navigation. Well, these systems do the same thing with your intercom. But anyway, it allows you to Bluetooth sync your iPad or your iPhone to your radio system. And this rugged one, we actually rigged this up the first year. It was kind of cool because of the form factor of this one. It's kind of in its own housing. So on our pre-run of the 1000, we were jumping around other folks' UTVs that we didn't know how they were going to be rigged up. So we had our own helmets and our own intercom, and we had this slapped into a camelback, into a backpack. And we ran it. We had a cigarette adapter coming out of the back of this. We had a cigarette adapter coming out of the back of this unit here we rigged up. They actually sell it for this. And then we basically could just pull that cigarette adapter out. We could jump in any vehicle. We could plug our headsets into the backpack, into one of these systems. We could plug it in. And then I could just pull the power cable out, plug it into the cigarette adapter in the vehicle that we're in. And we would have, first of all, we'd have intercom with the system we rigged up. We'd have music to jam out to, and we'd have LeadNav navigation, kind of portable in this rugged system here. So we could just grab and go, jump in another vehicle. And I was using this, we were using this to kind of train in, like if I was jumping in somebody else's vehicle or in anything, we could just kind of set up comms and set up LeadNav and listen to how she works and talk to each other. It was kind of a portable intercom. So this one was pretty good. The volume, I don't remember. I think it was pretty decent. It didn't have the volume control that the PCI one had. Let's go to that one. So, but anyway, I would hit up Rugged before you just pull the trigger on this one. See if there's a newer one, or see if this one's still good, or they suggest anything else. But basically, if you tell them you want to Bluetooth sync your iPad or your iPhone to it, listen to music, it's going to be the same thing as LeadNav. It's going to sound the same. So ask them what's best for doing that. And if you ask them about running LeadNav over the audio, they'll know what you're talking about too, I'm sure. So let's go to PCI. Where we at here? Hour. All right, not too bad. PCI radios. All right, we are on PCI. Let's type in Bluetooth intercom in here. Come on, wait. Oh, search. I have to hit search. All right. Here we go. There it is. This one right here. I've run this one. 4-link Pro Elite intercom only. Wait. Tracks. Okay. You're going to have to ask them on this one for your setup. I think I've ran this 4-link Pro Elite. You also have this Trax Plus intercom. Let's see. Trax intercom is PCI's very own American-made true stereo intercom. Left and right audio channels. I don't know. This one might be good too. I think I ran this one. I ran this one in the race vehicle. Yeah. This is the one we ran the second year, the 1000. We slapped this into an existing vehicle and wired it into the radio. This one was freaking great. I I would say the quality of this one sounded better to me. Again, I'm not knocking the rugged one. I know I'm not going to change anybody's mind because you're either running a rugged or PCI, either or. Um, both systems worked, but this one I kind of like better because you can adjust. I think you can adjust individual volume. I think you can adjust volume between each other too. Like the driver or the co-pilot could adjust their individual volume level, I believe. The only thing I didn't like is that it was just random. Like during the 1000, I mean, I spent like I think 20 some hours in the car that race, and during that time, at least 3 or 4 times, which yeah, it's like 6 hours apart or something like that. You would just stop getting navigation you'd stop hearing LeadNav, and I don't know what the radio was doing. It was just timing out or something. But it was as easy as we had that system up here, kind of mounted between the driver and the co-pilot, up high. Actually, we mounted up here to keep it from water, any stuff splashing up down low. Anyway, we decided to mount it up high up here, and it was just as easy to the co-pilot just to reach up and hit that blue button you see right there in the middle. And as soon as you hit that blue button, it just resynced the LeadNav and it would start reading navigation again. I don't know why it was just randomly dropping out, but when that happened, you'd be kind of driving for a while and you wouldn't hear anything from LeadNav, and you're like, "What's going on here?" And you look up, and I want to say that blue light would go off, or no, it's squelch. I don't know, but you just reach up and hit that blue button, and it would start working again. I don't know why I did that, but it seemed like it was timing out for some reason. Maybe it was just some stupid setting that we didn't put on the radio. I don't know, but both of those work great, and that's the way you want to do it. Don't run auxiliary cables anymore. Run a Bluetooth intercom. I know they cost money, but you're racing, so let's see. Anyway, and you're gonna want to talk to them because there's certain cables that you're gonna want to get to make all this work. But I would suggest if you want to listen to LeadNav speak, you're gonna get one of these two systems. Bluetooth intercoms from rugged or PCI. Let's go dirt bikers on that note. Let's go to what's a dirt biker gonna do to get audio from LeadNav to your helmet? I'm gonna tell you. You are gonna run. Let's just go right to. Let's see here. Let me find it. You are going to run a Bluetooth unit to your helmet. Let's look Scala. You're going to run a Scala QZ. Maybe they got something new now. Let me see what they got. Cardio systems. All right. Let's look. Let's see what they got here. You're going to run a Cardo. That's what I would suggest you run. Let's see what they probably have new stuff now. We used to run the cheapest one. It was a QZ. Kind of look, maybe it's one of these spirits. Maybe they call it the Spirit now. Let's see what the difference is. We used to run the QZ, which was like $100. So it's probably this HD. Obviously HD sounds better. Oh, you know what HD was? It was the port type, I think. Anyway. So, HD speakers. So you're going to run one of these guys. Looks like they upgraded it. Bluetooth. This has an aux jack or for your headsets in it. So you can run, we've run custom ear molds. We used to make custom ear molds. But you can get custom ear molds or you can get those Challenger foamies and just make sure they're the right, whoever you get those from, PCI and Rugged have those as well, but make sure they're the stereo sound aux hookup, not the mono. But we just stick this to the side of the helmet, dirt bike helmet. It actually has a cradle that you can snap it off and put another one on. So, because the battery life on these, I think it was like 10 hours. What is it? It's probably better now. You have to look up what the battery life is. But say you're running a 20-hour race, we would have planned, if it was somebody Ironman in it, they would just have a different QZ charging up on the chase truck. And at the pit, when you're drinking your water, taking a breather as an Ironman or woman, you could just take the next scalar rider, have your chase guys mount it to your helmet, do a resync on it to your phone real quick, your iPhone on your handlebars, and fire LeadNav back up in your helmet. Again, it's just a Bluetooth sync device with auxiliary jacks going into whatever you want to put in your helmet. You can use, I'm sure you're used to running different things, but again, you got the Challenger foamies that you can stick. You got the semi-molded ear pieces, and then we used to do the completely custom to your ear with the kit. You used to like do a mold of your ears, send it in. They would send you rubber ear molds, and you could get that to a high def aux jack into this. But that's what we run into the dirt bike helmets. There you go, 13-hour. What's this? 13-hour what? 13. It lasts for 13 hours. So see, they really improved these. So now you can go like 13 hours. So maybe in one race, you might have to swap it once. If you have multiple drivers or riders, they each have one on their helmet. And I mean, I would honestly, it's up to you, but if you have an X grip, a ram mount X grip to your handlebars or a mount system, and by the way, we might have our own dirt bike mount system soon. Just stand by for that. But you might want to just, if each person has an iPhone and you have the same case and setup for it, you could just hot swap it on the bike. So you have your own contact device with your own list of numbers and your own, life on it, and just swap it. It's already synced to your helmet, ready to run LeadNav, jump in, hit run, swap the whole system over. Or we've run a dedicated iPhone GPS before on a dirt bike that wasn't anybody's specific phone. It was just an iPhone that didn't have a personal account to it. And we just ran it as a GPS on the handlebars, and it stayed on there the entire race for everybody. But then you have to resync to the next person's Scala Bluetooth. So that's an option as well. Let's see here. All right. Hold on. Just double checking here. All right. What else was I going to cover? What else we got? Oh. Let's see here. I'll do a little shout out. Check here. So we'll go over mechanic tools. Close out with something outside the box. This flathead screwdriver is a great option to take to Baja with you. It's just a screwdriver. See that guy right there? Flathead. I mean, you can pry with it, do all kinds of stuff with it. Anyway, it's a cool tool. I'm shouting it out because I'm actually making the holsters for it. This actual holster, which is honestly probably slowing my buddy Dom down. Because I just got the design, I think, right. And now I can crank on them, but we've been figuring it out. And he sold like a ton of these over the weekend on the pre-release. And actually, if you want to get one or see what they're about, you can go right here. The CFH, the Combat Flathead. Again, it's a multi-use tool. Be great for Baja. And there it is right there. It's a good stocking stuffer for y'all. But you can see those beautiful holsters. Look at that. Those are made right here behind me. In this shed. Anyway, old teammate of mine. He came to me with this a few months ago. He was going to do injection molding on it, which folks who know the process of that. And honestly, the look and the finish and the performance that we got from the nylon 12 glass filled is freaking awesome. There's a little outside shout out though. You can go on there. I don't even know if he's got any, like at this point, I don't know if you're going to get them before Christmas. He sold a ton of them, but they're pretty freaking cool. I have all kinds of knives from him and everything else, but for some reason this flathead, it's just like I literally use this thing almost every day to either pop open a box or all kinds of crap. So you can go get those. Something a little different. All right. That's it, I think. What else? Let me double check on here. What is this crap? Junk. Spam chats. All right, closer to Christmas, we'll do some more discount codes and stuff like that. I'll put some of those out. And I think that's it, folks. I know it's, what is it? What day is this? Is it Monday? It's Monday. Tuesday. It is Tuesday. I've been shooting for Thursday and Fridays on these, but the with everything going on and our trip coming up this Saturday, I'm trying to knock everything out early. I hope that ramble is okay. Maybe you got something out of it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Tell all your buddies. And I hope everybody has a good holiday. And I won't see you next week because of my trip. But I'll check back in the following week, probably on that Thursday. But that's all I got.